Menai.
Welcome back, and at 10 o'clock this morning, this year's Winter Ffair was opened officially by the Royal Welsh Agricultural Society's Chair of Council, Di Lewis.
Yw cael bod yn ôl a dweud bod y gymdeithas yma o hyd. Hyfryd yw cael cwrdd gyda chydnabod unwaith yn rhagor. Ystyriaf hi felly yn fraint ac yn anrhydedd o'r mwyaf cael datgan bod ffair Iar 2021 ar agor. Thank you.
And it's good to be back. The crowds have returned and there's plenty of happy, smiling faces on what is the Society's first major event since the Winter Ffair in 2019. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us here on S4C. We will be with you until 4 o'clock this afternoon, bringing you the very best of what this year's Winter Ffair has to offer. But before we go and visit all the cattle, sheep rings and horse rings, let's check out with Stefan Griffith and see what the weather has in store for us. It's quite cloudy across Wales at the moment, and it's going to stay like that for the rest of the day and this evening. There'll be a few light showers in the west overnight. And the winds will strengthen somewhat, but the temperatures, as you can see, will range from 4 degrees to 10 degrees Celsius. First thing tomorrow morning, it'll be cloudy for the most of Wales. Might be a few scattered showers towards the west, but it's going to be dry overall. And the temperatures, well, 10 degrees Celsius here in Llanelwedd, 12 degrees on Anglesey. Quite mild over the next 24 hours, but tomorrow night, bit of a change. Low pressure coming across the country, the weather being a bit more wintry, and we might see a few showers, and the wind could be far stronger than it has been over the last couple of days. Well, it is mild here at the showground. It's a bit chilly. And if you are coming here tomorrow, make sure that you purchase your tickets beforehand. There aren't any tickets available at the gates at the main entrance, but you can buy them by visiting the Royal Welsh Agricultural Society's website. And if you are 18 years of age or older, you need a NHS COVID pass to come into the showground. Right, let's kick off the afternoon's proceedings then. We'll go straight to the cattle ring and we'll join Gerald Lewis.
Yeah, welcome back to the cattle ring. We are in class 703, which is the third section of the heifer sired by a limousine bull. Featuring in this class then we have cattle from 602 to 621, so a tight-knit class this, only 20 odd kilos between the, so a very evenly matched class for Mr. Penny to adjudicate. And as I alluded to before, then a lot of these cattle, then this 600 kilo mark, it seems to be the butcher's favourite, killing out at 60%, 65%. Then they come on that carcass weight of 370, 380 to 400 kilos. That is what most butchers would like.
showman yw'r beirniad a na beth sy wedi...
Mr Penny still had his work cut out too.
Ac ni'n gweld e nawr nôl gyda'r Ffair mae wedi rhoi yn y safle cyntaf ar hyn o bryd. Mae e jyst eisiau gwneud yn siŵr, mae e'n mynd nôl ymlaen.
Beside the winner.
Rhwng y ddwy.
Dwy o wahanol teip dyn ni fan hyn, Ifan. Un a bach mwy o gig a llall a bach mwy o chymod o wow factor y siow. Fydden ni'n syni dim nawr os fy'n hala'r ddwy mae gerdded rown neu gael pipr nhw'n neud ho.
As I alluded to earlier on in the programme, then Mr Penny is a showman and has been successful here in 2014 with his pedigree limousine heifer. And the way that he has judged in front of us today, then he has gone for the real showy, correct walking, appealing to the eye type of animal so far. Having just commentated on the cattle without putting my hands on, they are very attractive type of animal is what he has put forward so far.
Mae wedi gwneud ei waith yn slick iawn heddi hyd yn hyn, ond mae fe'n cael gwaith fan hyn nawr yn dweud.
Odi, mae dosbarth ma wedi ala fe bwyllo tywe bach i wedi gwir. Fel gweud, mae'r safon mor uchel.
These limousine cattle in front of his eyes, and especially these heifers, they do walk exceptionally good, and he is asking the competitors here to walk again, and probably this is the deciding factor in how he interprets that the pair of them walk, because he looks as if he's made a decision on 1 and 2, but probably will be how they actually conduct themselves on around the arena, decide his opinion.
Gerald, just as a matter of interest, what particularly is he looking for now then? If he hasn't made a decision, obviously he's torn between these two. What's he looking out for now?
Well, when he's actually asked him to walk forward and around the arena, then there will be a tendency in a lot of these animals that are, say, very, very muscular. They will have other traits then, in terms that maybe they'll throw the leg outwards or inwards or whatever. So it's the structure of the animal that he is looking at this moment, and if they can walk correctly, well, obviously they're built correctly, and therefore he decides then that it is a show, which it is a prime stock show, rather than, say, carcass competition if they were hanging up then, if you understand. So he looks as if he's made his decision, and he was probably that the decision between the two top heifers was very, very close on what he could put his hands on, and the deciding factor was that probably this particular animal walked better than the other one. So there we see number 45 has come to the fore, and there's D.G. Small and B. Wilkinson. Voodoo Magic.
Diolch I ti, boi, am d'arbenigedd. Mae wedi bod yn bleser cael ti yma. Diolch, Ifan.
Peidiwch anghofio fod gyda ni sylwebaeth Saesneg. There's an English language option available, and any problems, please contact the S4C Viewers Hotline.
Mae'r drama yn parhau fan hyn ynghylch y defed yn adran pwyser cigydd ar tro yma.
Well, let's have our first visit to the sheep ring this afternoon, and it's back to Gerald.
It's back to the 103.5.
Big battle mlan fory. Well,
and this is the pair of butcher's weights again, between 91 and 97 kilos.
Yn yr adran yma, yn y cylch yma.
And as we can see, this is where the crossbred section comes in, and with crossing a Beltex Texel Shalry seems to produce that crossbred vigour, and will produce a lamb with exceptional traits in different parts of his body. And this is where most of the lambs that are killed throughout the UK are crossbreds, and it's entirely up to the judge to decide what will be the best carcass. He would have in his mind as well killing out percentage of these lambs. I mean, they're very, very well tucked up, and no rib cage, and the percentage of what lamb will die at will be in his mind. But his predominantly thought in his mind is that the lamb, his classification of the lamb, which obviously most of these will be in the E conformation, but the target weight is a 3L, which is what the most abattoirs and procurement places require, is a 3L, and that is hence not too fat but not too lean. And in these continental breeds of Beltex, Texel, Charolais and that, you will struggle to get too many of them fat. So he is hands-on trying to assess what is underneath that skin and that well-trimmed fleece to see which they will be at the end of their lives, which will be obviously hanging up.
A ti wedi bod yn cystadlu dy hynna. Pam mae pobl yn parhau ddod nôl o flwyddyn I flwyddyn I cystadlu?
In his mind, he would probably trying to feature that this is the carcass that I would like to present in my shop window, or hence sell it across the counter. So the lamb which he decides to be the best, which he can exhibit in his shop and attract as many customers as possible.
Ie, fi'n gwybod bod ysgol uwchradd Tregaron nhw fel arfer yn dod bus a trip ysgol a pethau fel ni. Mae lot o ysgolion yn dod rownd, cael gweld y stoc, gweld y carcass hall, just gweld sut mae pethau'n mynd trwyddo.
Obviously colour doesn't come into this, as we see there's a few blue Texel crosses there. This is solely on what he can assess under the skin to produce the carcass, which is mostly desired.
We'll
have to come back in a while to see what Mr. Mulholland has decided.
91 kilo I 97 kilo.
Cofiwch ymuno yn hwyl y Ffair Eia ar Facebook, Twitter.
Don't forget you can follow the Winter Ffair on our social media, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and also you can visit the website, which is s4c.cymru/Ffair. Right, our first visit of the afternoon in the horse ring. Let's join Rachel Thomas.
Thank you. Right, we're back up now to the part-bred yearlings with Andrew Phillips, your judge. So, sorry, this is the championship. We've missed the yearling class. So, we've got obviously first and second from the 4 classes. Foals, yearlings, and then split into smalls and large. So I'll try and get you some numbers if you're interested. 803 in front of us there was the winner of the yearling class, Trindod Celtic Lord, belonging to Mrs. Hampson. 793 there was the Dun, there was second in the large foal class, and that was the Evans family Ystwyth special edition. 789 up in front of us now, and that's the Thomas family's Mount Pleasant Silver Charm, the small foal winner.
Wel, mae o'n cael golwg ar bob un. Wrth gwrs, y cynta'r ail o bob un dosbarth yn cymhwysau I fod yn y bencampwriaeth.
Got also the large foal, 807, standing at the top of the line when the camera pans back up. And that was Miss Irene Wynne Williams, Rhiannon Princess Charlotte, the Palomino at the top of the line. Can't quite get the other numbers, I'm sorry. So we've got a decision in the part-bred championship. Shame we missed the yearling class there, the large classes. But many of these will be back tomorrow in the Sportos classes, the larger part-breds, I would have thought. Certainly the winner there. So this is the large yearling winner, and it's number 810, and it belongs to Jessica Goldsworthy, and it's Tenstrumley the Illusionist, and the Mount Pleasant Silver Charm Reserve, the small foal. So there's the winner, Penstrumley the Illusionist, owned by Jessica Goldsworthy, by Monahawk Real Magic, which was a Section D, and out of Hollygate Superstitious. Done a bit of homework, and Hollygate Superstitious was a warm blood cross thoroughbred dam. So there we've got warm blood thoroughbred and back to a Welsh cob for anyone interested in the breeding there. So quite a popular cross now. To get that bit of warm blood in there for sport source purposes. Years ago, thoroughbred cross cobs were very popular, but nowadays the influence of the warm bloods is creeping in quite a lot. I think we're probably following Ireland. This is possibly going to be an interview in Welsh, I'm not quite sure.
Yes, amazing. Yeah, I'm so proud of him. He's an absolute monkey at home and cheekiest chap in the world, but yeah, very, very proud of him.
You bought him as a foal, I understand?
Yeah, I bought him. I seen a video of him when he was a week old, and then I bought him unseen over the phone, and then, yeah, bought him home when he was 5 months old then.
Well, it wasn't a bad purchase, was it?
It was a cracking purchase, yeah.
And of course, Rebecca's done a lovely job finishing him off for you.
Yeah, I took him back up there about 5 weeks ago, and she's done an amazing job with him, yeah.
Oh, well, very best. What does the future hold for the Illusionist?
Well, I'd like to sort of have him out showing next year, and then, you know, broken and out shown as a 4-year-old under saddle then.
Oh, well, I'm sure he's got an exciting future ahead of him. Congratulations, champion at the Winter Ffair.
Thank you very much. Yes, yeah. Good bet celebrating tonight. Thank you.
Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Llandrillo Menai. Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Llandrillo Menai.
Welcome back to the Winter Fair here at the Royal Welsh Showground in Llanelwedd, and we go straight back to the cattle ring and we'll rejoin Gerald.
And we're back in section 4 of the limousine side heifer, and obviously then we've gone up in weights, and we have cattle this time from 644 to 718 kilos. Some very strong, very finished heifers, I would say then. Mature heifers is the correct term. There in shot then was Mr. Elfed Williams's exhibit, who I alluded to before, from Sennybridge. Brecon, feed merchant.
Wedi cael gwledd ac un unne hefyd wedi cael gwledd. Mae wedi gofyn nawr i'r heifer sydd yn y trydydd ar ail safle I newid llefydd.
And Mr. Chris Penny again is asking two heifers to walk around the ring, and again looking at their locomotion and how correct they are in walking. This time I'm afraid that the pair of them then are running for second and third, because it looks as if he's made his initial selection, who left at number 1 position. And as we can state then, perhaps then, if I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say that the heifer in shot at the moment isn't quite walking quite as well as this heifer that is coming round, and Mr. Elfed Williams is there with Neil Lloyd at number 76. Looks to be the more correct walker to myself. So it'll be interesting, Mr. Penny's decision now. He's the man in charge. Does he put number 46 or number 76? And there you go. It looks as if he has decided that Elfed Williams' heifer, number 76 there, is just that little bit better walker. But he has made a selection and looks like at the top of the line. And as I alluded to before, then it's not the... It's obviously winning in the red card, but whatever colour card you get here at the Royal Welsh Winter Fair is a lot, so it's... It's number 52 that has come to the fore. And that is with H&S Dunlop, Tidy Dancer. So we only can naturally presume that she walked very, very well. Tidy Dancer will therefore go through to tomorrow, to the Limousine Championship. And she had 696 kilos. That's a lot of heifer.
Oes mwy o gystadlu I fod nawr?
Na, dim wedi benni nawr. Wedi benni, so mynd I wylo bach o myldwain yn rwle nawr falle.
Mwynhau y ffair.
Ie.
Ifan, diolch yn fawr iawn I ti.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr.
I think just in that small shot there, we see that Tidy Dancer did walk very, very well.
Two firsts, so it's been a good morning so far.
And what's the story with this heifer?
She won a local show back in August. That was her first outing. She was overall champion, interbreed at it, and then she's been at Agri Expo at Carlisle a month ago, and then she was at Live Scott. She was first in her class there. That was at the weekend there, and then we came straight here.
She's a tremendous heifer, almost 700 kilos. She carries it well.
Aye, yes, she's got great locomotion, and she's a nice heifer.
There'll be some celebrating tonight.
Well, maybe not. I'll need to be on the ball tomorrow.
Well, it's great having you down with us, and congratulations. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Diolch yn fawr. Ta-ra.
Cheers.
S4C.Cymru/Ffair ydy'r cyfeiriad.
Well, if you want to visit the website with all the information about this year's Winter Fair, then the website to visit is s4c.cymru/Ffair. Right, quickly from the cattle ring back to the sheep ring, and we'll rejoin Gerald.
Yes, welcome back to the sheep ring in the butcher's lambs class, and it's from 91 to 97 kilos.
Nice change, you know.
And coming on top of the pile this time is Mr. Tyrion Griffiths. Sorry. Yes, Mr. Tyrion Griffiths, that's correct. And these lambs actually weigh 93.5, which would be 46.75 each. So these carcasses would be very large, actually.
If you expect, I mean, these lambs have been well trimmed for the show, Gerald, but for the lamb perhaps at 45 kilos, what weight would you as a farmer expect it to die at?
Yes, commercial lamb straight off the field or off a little bit of food on the field, then we'd be talking 43-44%. But these lambs being trimmed and the diet being so good, obviously being tucked up ready for the show, and that I'm sure that a lot of these lambs will be dying in the 50 to 52%. So we're looking at a 46.5 kilos. I'd be quite surprised that these lambs didn't do 50 kilos, which would be a load of meat actually.
Well, we'll be returning to the sheep ring quite soon. In the meantime, here's Aaron, and he's in the young farmers section at the Winter Fair, and he's in the middle of the Christmas trees.
Lwcus bod y goeden yma. Pwy sy'n gwybod beth wneud y gwyd?
And that Christmas tree is serving a purpose, as obviously we have to observe the social distancing.
Dwi wedi dechrau fel swyddog marchnata a chyfathrebu efo ffermwr ifanc. Nes I ddechrau diwedd mis Medi,
So she's just started with the marketing department with the young farmers.
Dwi'n hapus, mae'n ddolig.
Which is a very important job, of course, because there's quite a lot of activities going on with the young farmers. Of course, the Eisteddfod was held recently, which was also broadcast on S4C.
Achos y power cuts. Dyna dal cyfle I weld ar clic.
Ond oedd hi wych I weld y Steddfod nôl, achos mae wedi bod yn gyfnod anodd, a cael ei lodau nôl a dipyn bach o fwrlwm, mae wych.
And as Aaron is asking Anna, obviously during the last couple of years where people have been confined to barracks, as it were, it's been quite important to get the members back together to take part in all the different activities and doing that to represent their different individual clubs.
Really.
And what's happening here in this Winter Fair, there's an awful lot of competitions going on. Obviously, one of them being decorating the Christmas tree, judging the stock, and the young handlers competitions. A lot of skills being shown as well.
Efo cywain,
and there's also a few competitions with the company Cywain using the produce produced here in Wales.
Gael ei ddangos fory.
And that will be happening tomorrow. So there's a great variety of activities, and if you were trying to explain to somebody from another planet exactly what the young farmers do, and then the variety is very great. And obviously Anna, with the cameras there to be seen, is here to take photographs of all the activities taking part.
Dylunio coed. No, sorry, dwi wedi cael yn wrong. Addurno coedolig. Mae'r enillwyr wedi cael ei...
Well, as you can see, these Christmas trees have been decorated, and Pembrokeshire won the first prize.
A da iawn ti ar dy waith gwych, Anna. A pob lwc I bawb o Ffermwr Ifanc.
Diolch.
Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Llandrillo Menai. Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Llandrillo Menai.
Welcome back. We'll go straight to the horse ring and join Rachel Thomas.
Thanks, Gareth. So we're back now in the horse ring for the Section A's, for all you Welsh enthusiasts out there. Now, interestingly, the A's were the biggest classes at this year's fair, and this is Class 182, which is the colt foal class. 43 entries, which I think is massive after all that's gone on. And such are the entries, they've had to split this class and judge them in 3 separate sections. So what we're actually seeing now is the top 10 out of the 3 sections just coming in for their final judging. Quite a few sort of palominos and sort of dun colours and sort of plenty of ponies listed as grey, but some of them might not grey out. And here's your judge, Kitty Bodley. From the Glebedale Stud down in Abergavenny. You Section A enthusiasts will be very familiar with Kitty and her family. Her mother Jill started the Glebedale Stud over 40 years ago, and very well known in the A's and B's and indeed C world. They've bred themselves many prize winners, including Glebedale Mumbo Jumbo, who was M&M Supreme ridden at Hoys. Also plenty of Section C winners as well.
Bryn Rodin Gillert.
I'll try and get some numbers for you. So I think that's Kyle and Stud, but I can't quite find the
Miss Lisa Baswm Allen, Ascendens, a Love Struck.
Can't see all of the numbers, I'm afraid.
Rob, of course, and
sometimes it's hard to see who people are with the masks on. 815 out in front of you then, and that's Miss Lisa Baswm Allen's Ascendens Love Struck. Bred by the exhibitor by Pendock Pageboy and out of Senny Lynette.
Ashley Oldroyd.
Palomino out in front of you, 845. Oldroyd and Williamson's Danash Pray Tell. Again, bred by the exhibitor. So, Kitty Bodley there, assessing her final 10. She's looking, her ideal when she's judging is to breed and to pick as her winner what she classes to be the perfect child's pony, and also a pony that can perform and to go on as a ridden pony. So I think she probably likes the more sort of flamboyant type of Section A, and something with a wow factor and sort of an extravagant mover. Certainly the ponies coming forward do seem to be of the type that will go on and do a first ridden or lead rein class as children's ponies. So hopefully we'll come back and see the prize griven of that class and then see the filly foals.
Right, let's step over to the sheep ring and join Gerald.
Yes, we are in the pair of badger face Welsh mountain lambs, or Torthy lambs. I'm going to stick my neck out and say that this is the largest representation class in the whole of the show. But having said that, even though there are a large number of entries, these Torthy lambs are not designed to be of big frame and excessively big lambs, and I can see that there's plenty of lambs from 57.5 combined weight, which would only be 28.5, up to about 64 or 65 kilos. So it's a very tight class of lambs, and
o ran y bryd, mae dyn nhw nodweddion eitha unigryw, really. Y bole di ar...
So our judge here has his work cut out to decipher in between, and I think if I'm correct, there is 25 entries in this particular class. So strong representation of Welsh lambs here on show.
Achos mae wedi bod mae tipyn o amser nawr, ond mae tipyn o job o'i flanau.
Mae'n dechrau colli chwys nawr, chi wedi gweld wrtho fe. Ond I peth am Alun, eitha gadw ni ar flaenau'n trad. Rydym yn mynd datgelu beth mae fe'n gwneud, ydy fe?
Na.
Sa'n credu fyddwn ni'n gwybod lot cyn y diwedd.
Ond mae fe'n hen law, mae fe'n prynu a gwerthu.
Mr. Alan Richards, we featured earlier on, winning the Hereford Heifer class, has the honours of judging the Welsh Mountain Torthy class, so he's having to earn his living today.
Do, mae fe'n eitha hapus fi'n credu, felly mae'n cael dyrnod bisi iawn.
Ond, na un beth am Alun, mae'n gyfforddus yn y cylch. Mae'n joio.
Mae fe'n joio.
25 entries is a lot of lambs to a time, so there's only 50 lambs for him to handle, and as I say, they judged as a pair, so every lamb has to be exactly the same. And then he has to decipher on the confirmation and where they will be, because obviously these are not in the extra muscular breeds of the Beltex, Texel, Shalrays and whatever, so different type of lamb which he is assessing, plus the wool that is on these lambs is a lot thicker and a lot harder to decipher what is underneath.
I'm
sure Mr. Richards, who is a buyer for a local firm, will have the experience and knowledge to decide which is required.
Ano beth sy'n wastad yn cael fi gyda'r torwen a'r torddi. Nawr pan ti'n meddwl amdano'r torddi nawr sydd yn y cylch, ti'n meddwl amdano ddi. Ond na, y tor yw'r bol.
The torddi then have distinctive marks in, as we can see that they have black fronts and a black line continuous right down throughout their body in the pedigree and breeding section, but within the commercial section here, a lot of faults on the underline inside would be hidden, so he doesn't have to tip these lambs up and have a look at the line which continues of dark coloured line all the way through. But anyway, we'll have to come back later and see what Mr. Richards has decided.
Yeah, we will be back in the sheep ring, but we're going to stay with Gerald because we're going quickly now to the cattle ring.
Yes, so we're back in the cattle ring.
Mae'n fresh heddi, ydy mae'n fresh, ond mae'n neis bod nôl, man.
It's class 9. It is the heifer, sired by a pure native bull. And we have just a few entries in this. And these can be sired by different bulls, obviously. In the native, they could be Aberdeen, Shorthorn, Hereford, whatever. And we think we have two Aberdeen Angus side heifers and a Longhorn side heifer. You see the distinctive features of the Aberdeen there with a very pretty head and on this particular animal.
Tad gwahanol I limb neu blws, so mae gynnon ni galw a longhorn, so jyst rhywbeth allan i'r bocs mewn ffordd bach gwahanol.
Felly'r bridiau cynhenid yna wedyn, a mae yna dair heifer yma, does? Y dwy wedi dod
The winner of this, obviously, again, will feature out in the Heifer Championship later on and will be stood against all of the larger commercial continental breeds.
Maen nhw'n wartheg smart a fyny, di gweud celwydd fyna wrth y tia a'r bobl adre, ola nidloes mae'r un gyntaf.
Obviously, the confirmation factor isn't quite as powerful on these heifers as is on our continental friends, but still Mr. Penny has to judge the animal on its meat in the correct places, and what he decides that underneath that skin will be what the butcher requires.
O Sussex, daw hon.
Yndi, mae honna allan o fuwch Belgian Blue a tad galw, so mae honna bach fwy o sharp I fi.
An exceptional good shaped heifer for an Aberdeen.
allan o'r un bryd.
A heffer wedyn ar y ped, mae hon yn dod o Sir Fynwy, a yr hirgorn, dwi'n meddwl, sydd dan i fan hyn, yn dyfe fel tad.
Ie. Mae'n heffer da am ei bryd.
Lovely colour scheme on the Longhorn.
A fy'n rhywbeth, sa'ch chi'n gweld fel arfer, ond mae'n hyd.
They've left the
cymharu ar ddwy arall.
horns on this particular animal, which is a key to its name.
Ond ddim yn edrach fatha bod hi'n pwyso hynna, ond...
Dwi ddim, mae'n pwyso, arbennig o ddaw ar y teg. Mae'n glab o heffer, mae tipyn o hyd na mwyn un, does?
Oes.
Lw ti'n gweld hon yn mynd elliw, yr un yn y canol, falle fe hwnna?
Wel, ia, mae wedi bod yn y sioia, tair sioe dwi wedi bod yn, a wedi cael yn uchel, so swn i'n feddwl, ond wedi deud, mae'r un mae Stephen hefo, mae honna wedi bod yn uchel hefyd.
Mae Mike Rowlands.
Again, we have some very choice names in these animals that have been put with Mini, Cheeky Pims, and Gup-worthy Tea Time. So I would stick my neck out to say that the Longhorn is probably a pedigree heifer, and the prefix of that would be Gup-worthy. Anyway, Mr. Penny has made his decision, and the winner is number 79. Mr. and Mrs. Sarah and Jason Wareham with Cheeky Pims. She weighs in at 546 kilos. She, as I stated earlier on, she will feature in the championship lineup tomorrow of the heifers within the show.
Cheeky girl o Lladrysant. A dod I bethau fyna. Diolch I ti Elliw am y tro. Well, Nia is now joined by Ffion Gwyn, who has been judging in the handicraft section at this year's Winter Ffair. Ffion, who lives in Aberystwyth now, but is from Criceth originally, and she's been very impressed by the variety of items that have been shown here, and it's with the Christmas card, obviously Christmas being the main theme, and that 3D Christmas card there. Catherine Hughes from Powys won that particular section, and Simon Meredith from Monmouthshire was awarded the second prize. Very Christmassy. It's quite an impressive Christmas card, albeit not the kind you usually... you can put it flat to post it, but as you can see, it comes out in a square shape. And the same people who had competed in the Christmas card competition had also presented items in the actual 3D class. One of the classes was a rainbow in any medium, and you can see the dragons there in the colours of the rainbow, and the signpost there saying Llanelwydd and Cardiff. And the rainbow there with the word Gobaith, hope, written above it. Now the topic for the photography class was winter, and it's an interesting interpretation because you can see the snowflakes in the foreground and the tree in the background, but there's that feeling of movement within the picture. And Byddig Sian Davis from Denbighshire was awarded the first prize, and you can see the calves there indoors. Interesting faces there on the animals. And of course, one animal you associate with Christmas is a reindeer, and that was one of the competitions, a reindeer in any class. There's a 3D reindeer there, bit of character belonging to it. And Simon Meredith from Monmouthshire
has won the first prize in that particular class. And he's had a very successful time at the Winter Fair. Well, Nia's just asking Ffion if she knows Simon at all. She doesn't, but she'd be very pleased to meet him because he's obviously done very well here in the handicraft section in the Winter Fair.
Mae'n dod trwyddo, mae'n amlwg bod nhw wedi rhoi'r amser ychwanegol. Ac I gloi, mae gennym ni, wel dwi yn licio rhain, y clust lysa yma.
And to end, a pair of Christmas earrings. That was the class, the little beads with the Christmas pudding and the Father Christmas faces. And Ffion is also impressed by the way that they've been displayed with the wine glass. And she's obviously enjoyed herself during her time here. And she's just explaining that she used to compete herself in years gone by and had also won more than one first prize at the Winter Fair in the past. So we'll leave the handicraft section and we'll return to the horsing and quickly join Rachel.
Yeah, quickly we've got the result of that colt foal class in the section A. And the winners 845, which is Oldroyd and Williamson, Danash Praytel. Bred by themselves by Idyllic Idris out of Western Polly's Gem.
I'll get Miss Lisa Basum Allen.
And 855 second, Wilson and Morris is Rocky View Welsh Soldier. And I can't quite catch the third for you. Winning ponies come down from Dolgellau. Light Palomino pony, from what we saw on the screen, it was a really nice moving, flamboyant pony. So I would guess that Kitty Bodley, the judge, would be looking for this to make a future ridden.
Really pleased.
M&M leader or first ridden. This is in English, so I'll let you listen.
Quite know what was happening.
Yeah. Well, I originally pulled in fifth, so I was totally in shock to be pulled up to top. I can't believe it.
He moved very well, fair play.
Thank you very much.
And Dan's here somewhere, is he?
Yeah.
Doing the donkey work?
He's to the toilet because it's not up there with his cart.
Oh, well, good luck.
Thank you.
So there's your section A showing off that lovely flamboyant movement there, and hopefully we'll come back for the massive filly foal class.
Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Llandrillo Menai. Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Santriso Menai.
Welcome back to the showground here in Llanelwedd. This year's Winter Ffair well underway. So let's return quickly to the sheep ring, and here's Gerald Lewis.
Back to the Badger Face Welsh Mountain, or the Torddi Lambs. We featured these earlier on, and Mr. Richards, Alan Richards there, has been busy and has drawn his, what he considers to be the best up to the front line. Hasn't made the decision yet on which he decided is the best, but I'm sure he's not too far away.
Yn bendant, mae di hala tipyn bach o amser, ond mae fe eisiau bod yn deg gyda pob arddangoswr, a I fod yn deg I Alan, mae fe di mynd trwyddyn nhw gyd yr un...
You see in second place there, Mr. Kevin Davis from Llanybydder at 3.25. Sitting in second at this moment. Oh, indeed, he has moved Kevin Davis forward. So at this moment then, it's Kevin Davis from Llanybydder that is sitting in first position. And his lambs are actually 62.5, so they're about 31.7 half weight.
Kevin yn aelod ar sawl blwyddyn nawr o'r gymdeithas ac yn dangos wy'n torddi...
As I alluded to before, this is a very difficult class to assess with the thickness of the wool and that on each individual animal, and to assess a pair underneath that heavy fleece of wool is quite difficult. But still, here we are, he has decided, so number 325, Kevin Davis from Llanybydder, is the winner of the Torddi Lambs. Now he has to talk to Minor. Probably finding this more difficult than he is finding exhibiting the lambs.
They
look like a pair of ewe lambs to me. There is no horns because these Torddi lambs male lambs would have horns, but they would obviously have castrated, so maybe the horns wouldn't have grown quite so strong, but they do look like a pair of very nice ewe lambs. And as I stated earlier on, there was 25 pairs of lambs in this class, so to come on top of 25 is an exceptional good feat.
Y beirniad pwysig sydd wedi cael gwaith caled iawn fan hyn yn y cylch fydden ni'n dweud, Alan. Sut o ti'n dechrau beirniad i'r ein?
As I stated earlier on, Alan Richards from Pimsaint, who does purchase lambs on behalf of a local firm, should be accustomed to what he is requiring. At this particular moment in time, smalls they classify as under 14 kilos. Dead is quite a demand on them at the moment, so I shouldn't be surprised that an exceptional good pair of lambs like we have just seen that will die in that region of 14 kilos will be very much in demand, so maybe Mr. Richards will purchase the lambs off Mr. Davis and back his judgment.
Just yn gytun dy gili y ddau bar yn hanfon bert dy gilydd.
Wel, llongyfarchiadau, Alan. A hefyd, llongyfarchiadau mennill...
But the auction will follow later tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see and what sort of money these lambs will make.
Da iawn, Alan. Wastad yn gyfnogol i'r ffair. Llongyfarchiadau.
Thanks, Gerald. We'll leave the sheep ring. No doubt we'll be there again before the end of the Winter Fair. In the meantime, let's hop over to the cattle ring, and we're getting to the end of the heifer classes, Gerald.
Yes, we're back in class 11, which is an interesting class actually. It's a homebred heifer, any breed, born, bred and fed on the exhibitor's holding. So this is quite a prestigious event to win, because I would go as far to say we're not talking checkbook buying here. We are talking skill factor in breeding, feeding and exhibiting their own animal, which is an exceptional
O scratch.
Oes.
Good job, in my opinion.
Dwi'n siŵr bod
And although we do see some very well
Alban os dwi'n iawn.
respected breeders in there, and in second place Tecwyn Jones from North Wales has no
Ddwy heifer yn edrych yn
stranger to the show ring and has won
wahanol, ond
multiple honours at the top level, so
debyg
he has decided to keep and show his own animal, which is an exceptional heifer, but at this present moment he's lying in second place. I'm sure he's trying to persuade Mr. Penny that he can get to the top.
tebyg i'w gilydd.
Heifer Tecwyn, cofio ni'n...
And this particular class, and there's 100 kilos difference between the top end and the bottom end, 544 kilos to 644. So, but there we are, Mr. Penny has made his decision, and it looks like as if it is A&E Vance, and Damn She's Glam is the name, and she has lived up to her name and been glamorous and achieved the top honours in this particular class. So congratulations to A&E Vance, that again will go forward in the championship of the heifer. So we'll see Damn She's Glam again tomorrow.
Braf dy weld ti ma nôl yn Llanelwer.
Yndi, braf bod yma.
A pob hwyl efo cystadlu'r foch.
Diolch.
Diolch, Elliw.
Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Llandrillo Menai. Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Llandrillo Menai.
Welcome back to the showground here in Llanelwedd. This year's Winter Ffair, of course, and we're with you here on S4C until 4 o'clock this afternoon. And we will be taking a closer look at the craftwork later on. And Nia will be talking with Anne Morgan, one of the judges in the handicraft section. That's to come later on. But in the meantime, I think we'll be heading for the horse ring. Let's go there now, and we'll join Rachel Thomas.
Thanks, Gareth. So we're back up now to the Section A's, and this is the filly or gelding foal class, and this is the biggest equine class of the show with 57 entries, which is amazing. Just interestingly enough, in 2021 there have been 480 equine entries, and in 2019 377, so we're up 100.
Yeah,
so even during the lockdowns, people are still keeping and still having enthusiasm for showing their animals. So again, due to the massive entries, it's been split into 3 sections again, and these are the final 10 that Kitty Bodley has selected.
A mi fydd yn geffyl fydd yn medru symud o'r ysgwydd. Ceffyl sy'n medru symud ymlaen.
Wel, dyma ni y brydfa idyllic, Mark Alice Kilby. A dyma ni idyllic Lovestruck.
Tried to get you some numbers. 888 in front of us there.
Love Day.
Ie, mae gyda brydfa idyllic 2
Pictures Mr Dennis Price's Avon Shady Lady.
2 bwles maen nhw wedi magu wrth gwrs.
Ringside Shantae You Stay.
I'll try and get you another number.
Spring Bron Capricorn allan o'r
910 Miss Kay Williams Ringside Shantae You Stay. Now obviously few of these foals have been out this year. There have been a few foal shows. So obviously they wouldn't have been to many shows, and some have been to none. 900 just in front of us there. Mrs Mary Richards, Tredeg Myfanwy.
Mary Richards, Tredeg Myfanwy, y tad o'r iseldiroedd Centennial Ramos a'r fam Zonawide Diamond Jubilee.
And again, well, I mean, I'm as you guys know, I'm not a Section A expert, but
Gibbons, Islin.
From my eye, again, the ponies selected here, the ponies that are going to go on and make sort of your ridden A's or your lead reins and first riddens. I know from commentating at the summer show, there are 2 distinct types of A's. We've got the sort of old-fashioned hilled ponies, rounder movers, and then we've got the sort of what I would class as more flashy and flamboyant ponies. Possibly, dare I say, with not quite as much bone. But they tend to make the ponies that go under saddle.
Ie, y bolus yma wedi cael llwyddiant
in the lead reins and first riddens.
Gemma Morris yn arddangos.
So again, in my eyes at least anyway, this is a type of pony that has come forward today and a year in the final 10. An interesting fact about Kitty Bodley is that she's won at the Winter Ffair with a Section A, a C, a part bred, and also with cattle.
Pearl Rose.
Being a farmer's wife, they've also shown cattle here at the Winter Ffair.
Perdita.
So we're going to come back to this, and hopefully we will get a full result for you as soon as we can. So, like I said, great to see such huge classes here at the show again. As many of you know, during lockdown, horse prices did explode. I'm not quite sure why, people at home had more time, and they seem to stay at that level now, even though competition-wise we've been a bit limited, especially in Wales. But hopefully we will come back as soon as we can and give you a full result.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel. We will be returning to the horse ring for the conclusion of that particular class. Nia currently is joined by Anne Morgan, who's been judging in the Women's Institute and Merched y Wawr classes in the cookery section.
Wel, dim ond dwy gystadleuaeth.
And they're talking about the Merched y Wawr section, and the competition for Merched y Wawr was to create a cake that you could give as a gift to a neighbour. So it's quite open-ended, and this particular cake won the first prize. And if a neighbour brought me this cake as a present, then I'd be over the moon. It's very well presented, and if you're going to give food as a gift, then it has to look the piece, as it were. And this particular cake was made by Nen Davis from Bro Tryweryn.
Well, agor y box. Pan nes I agor y box.
And Anne is just saying that when she opened the box, the aroma was unbelievable with this particular fruit cake. The quality is of a very, very high standard, just enough alcohol in it, and the aroma, as I said before, was amazing. It was a very close competition. It's a difficult one to judge, really, because there was such a difference between both of them. But the taste of the fruitcake was exceptional. But as far as presentation's concerned, then Nan Davis has deserved the first prize. Now this is Catherine Lewis from Bala. As cake. Obviously the marzipan in the middle. And it's a pumpkin cake.
Beth am I droi rwan at y cacena sefydliad y merched a'r gystadleuaeth iddyn nhw oedd...
Now then, turning our attention to the Women's Institute competition. And the task there was to create a Christmas cake from another country. Now this is a cake from Scandinavia. And it's the simplicity of the cake that attracted Anne's attention. There's no flour in it, just almonds, icing sugar, and egg yolk. And then second by Delyth Jenkins from Ceredigion. Looks so simple. It's a cake that comes from Sri Lanka.
Lots of spices.
And which includes an awful lot of spices and fruits, nuts, and dates, figs.
A wedyn oedd gyda chi marzipan yn gorchuddio o'r cyfan. A wedi cael ei wneud, yn lle defnyddio blawd, wedi cael ei wneud gyda semolina, so oedd hi'n llaith iawn.
A wedyn yn drydydd fan hyn, Linda Frobert Powys, cacen o...
And in third place was Linda Probert from Powys, a cake from the Caribbean.
Lot of glaze ar y top, ar y wyneb.
Very colourful as far as the glaze was concerned. As you can see, the nuts on the top, which included a lot of spices, give you the taste of the Caribbean. So there's quite a bit of variety within that particular class.
Da chi wedi cael blas yn llythrennol felly?
blast o.
A da chi'n edrych yn feirniad nadoligaidd iawn hefyd, Anne. Da chi di mwynhau cael bod nôl yma'r maes Winter Ffair?
And yeah, just asking Anne if she's enjoyed being back here at the Winter Fair. Yes, it's been quite a long time since we've all been here together, and a lot of cooking has gone on during that period of time as well. Plenty of time to practice.
Diolch I chi am y sgwrs a diddorol dros ben a llongyfarchiadau I bawb yn sydd wedi bod wrth.
And congratulations to everybody who took part in the cookery competition. Right, let's head back to the horse ring, and we're expecting a conclusion and a result, Rachel.
Yep, we are. Hopefully, we're going to see Kitty Bodley's result of this filly foal class, the largest equine class of the show this year. In fact, the A foals have produced the first and second highest entry number this year, so massive popularity in Section A is coming back out for this first show in 2 years. So we've got the sponsor of the class now. Whoop, I think the ponies. So the chap, that kind sponsor approaching her and decided she didn't like the look of him. So we've got the winner there, which is 883, and it's the Jones Evans family from Gwynedd, and this pony is Islin Glodewydd.
Very enjoyable though.
The filly moved lovely, to be fair.
Yeah, she's like a little toy on the end of the road, to be honest with you.
And showing this on behalf of Johan and Dora.
Yes, yeah, quite a privilege.
So they've got younger legs in, have they, to do the job?
Yeah, I think probably there was no one else.
Oh, well, you did a fantastic job. Pob luck in the pencampwriaeth. Good luck in the championship.
Thank you very much.
Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you.
So there we go. Lap of honour time, Section A. Filly o Geldin class winner. Be lovely to see that pony come out under saddle one day. As maybe a lead rein or first ridden pony for a child, and again another pony showing off some extravagant and flamboyant movement.
Second was 894.
Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Llandrillo Menai. Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Santriso Menai.
Well, earlier today, the family of the late Richard Tudor received the Caras Award from the Royal Welsh Agricultural Society in recognition of his contribution to the society over the last year or so.
A heb am heiath, mi fasa Richard wedi bod wrth I fod yma yn gweld y ffair eleni.
Right, next we're going to return to the cattle ring, and here's Gerald again.
Well, dyma ni felly yn troi'n sylw erbyn hyn.
Yes, welcome back to the cattle ring, and this is the first class that we will feature on the steer section. So obviously we change our judge, and our judge for the steer section throughout the fair here is Mr. Trevor Lyon, Lintre House, Water Lane, Thirlby, born in Lincolnshire. And Mr. Lyon is no stranger to the show ring, but his main business is designing gardens. But he also keeps 60 suckler cows, limbs and blues, obviously in the showing world, and 200 commercial sheep. They fatten some animals for the local market, but on the whole, he sells his heifers for breeding, obviously to go on, hopefully to produce future show cattle, and he sells them in Scotland and in Cumbria. He's judged across the country and many large appointments, such as other shows, large shows, and competed in the Royal Welsh Show himself on a few occasions. So we'll see how Mr. Lyons, or the type of cattle that Mr. Lyons will select. Whether he will be a true showman, which he probably is, because at no stage does he sell to the butcher, sells through the local market, so he doesn't sell any cattle dead. So it'll be a true show person, so maybe he will select what we probably the same as Mr. Penny, in a very stylish and very attractive type of animal. So here we have 4 Herefords in the pedigree Hereford steer section. And this would be probably very difficult because he has 4 animals in front of himself, and from 516 kilos is the lightest to a massive 702 kilos for the heaviest. But as we stated earlier on, then they have not got sufficient numbers to split these classes up like we do in the other breeds, in the limbs and the Belgian blues. So they're all in the class there together for Mr. Lyon to run his expert eye over. But still, one of these steers will go forward to the champion steer section tomorrow. So one person will be excited to have a chance to compete against the other best steers of all breeds in the final. Look there at the heaviest steer, which is quite a bit larger than his counterpart, the smaller steer. But still, his quality and meat is what Mr. Lyon will be trying to decipher what is under that skin. And as I alluded to, Mr. Lyon is a showman, and therefore he will be looking for an animal that conducts itself well, stands well, walks well, and also looks well. He states himself that he will be looking for an animal with style, good head, walks well, and with meat that is suitable for the butcher the day after the fair.
A wedi cael llwyddiant eleni mewn ambell I sioe, neu?
Di ni ddim wedi cael cyfle I show one Lenny, and na, we wedi bod yn...
As stated, he sells his majority of his heifers, I presume, to go on for breeding. So he should be looking for an animal of nice, stylish maybe, even though he's judging the steers, maybe I'm wrong, but he might well feature and pull strongly towards the heifers tomorrow, but that's, we will wait and see. He's got to judge all the steer classes in front of him for the rest of the day and decide which would be the best steer from every class to go forward. We'll have to come back later and see what he'd done.
Dwi wedi cyrraedd yr adran garcas, a dwi'n glyfeirian chydig bach, achos mae'n anteithio'n dir i yma, llon lle Hamperi, ac yn berniadu'r Hamperi lenni, mae'n ddim pwysig iawn, yn gwybod y cyfan am werthu cynnyrch, Mr Gareth Roberts.
Eiron Pew is joined by Gareth Roberts from Llanefydd, who's been judging in the meat hamper competition in the 4 different categories.
Sorry, hogyn di a ffarm ydw I byth, ysdi. A iawn, salamis o bob mathau sydd yma yn y categori yma.
So the first class was a showcase of meat.
Pwy sydd wedi cael cynta? Reit, awn ni at yr ail categori.
The second category in the background. A Welsh Christmas dinner hamper, minus the turkey. But there's no wonder that particular hamper won, because it stands out a mile.
The
next category was the fresh Welsh breakfast meat hamper. Now that could feed quite a few people over breakfast. And once again, that particular hamper stood out from the rest. And definitely, if you were to see that in the shop window, that would be appealing straight away. And the final category. And this is the Welsh showcase of meat hamper. And once again, as Gareth is explaining, it was quite an easy category to judge, because if that was in a shop window, you know, it would attract your attention immediately, because when you see in the shop windows, you're walking down the high street, that will draw your attention. So that's good enough to win the first prize. And of course, Eiron is just saying that there's so much emphasis these days on buying in local produce, and that is exactly what that hamper does. It attracts your attention straight away, and that's what made his decision far easier. And that's worth quite a bit of money. I think Eiron is actually looking for a bargain, but I don't think he's going to get away with it.
Wel, mae gennym ni rion beth fan hyn I Gareth ag I Eiron, sef y mwffler mae gadw'n...
Right, let's return to the handicraft section.
Eiris Jones.
And Nia is with Eiris Jones from Newport in Pembrokeshire. And this muffler, it's called a tweedle muffle. Obviously to keep your hands warm, and it's obviously very, very colourful.
Fel bobl sy'n hŷn, a maen nhw'n mwynhau gyda rhywbeth fel yna. A chi'n gallu gwneud unrhyw faint a unrhyw gyfrwng a defnyddio beth sydd gyda chi, dafydd neu...
And you could, within this particular section, you could create them of any size or whatever, but there's a lot of creative work gone into that particular piece.
I denu'r llygad te ato fe.
The twiddle muff.
Felly beth ydych chi wedi bod yn neud?
Unrhyw gyfrwng. Mae gyda fi wahanol, mae bobls bach myna wedi wneud, a mae fel rhyw dedi bach myna, mae pethau bach maen nhw'n gallu gweld, a lliwau yn bwysig, achos mae lliwau yn denu'r llygad.
And obviously, as Eiris is saying, it's the colour that attracts the attention.
wedi dod lan â 5 cystadleuaeth yn yr agored yn pethau'r sioe.
And she's been here judging in 5 different sections, and she's in the past won here several times herself.
Mae'n hyfryd I fod nôl.
And once again, Iris is expressing the same views that many people here have said today. It's such a pleasure to be back here in the Winter Fair to see some familiar faces that we haven't seen for such a long time. Right, let's return to the sheep ring, and here's Gerald once again.
We return to the sheep ring, and we have the class 88 pair of Llanwenog lambs, another native breed. And this this then again is quite a weight variation in these particular pairs, from 61.5 combined weight to 95.5 combined weight. So again, we have a lot of different strength in these lambs. A slightly different type again from the smaller Tordir, which we featured earlier on, and now we've gone perhaps even though the native's quite a leggy type of lamb, an upstanding type of lamb.
A bryd nhw o Llanwenog yn amlwg yng Ngheredigion. A mae'n dipyn o hanes i'r bryd yma.
So Mr. Probert here, featured earlier, having to judge slightly different type to what he perhaps produces himself, but he's made a winner and his decision, and the winner is number 448, Iros Davis. And their lambs would be one of the heaviest pairs in the thing, in the competition, at 92 kilos combined, so 46 live, so a bit more mature and probably quite good meat. These lambs are trimmed to perfection, very attractive, distinctive, with that wool over their forehead, top of their head and onto their forehead.
Ie, sut deimlad yw ennill Llanwenog? Mae hwnna'n meddwl lot, mae'n siŵr, ydyw e?
Mae'n sioc o'r... Wedi cystadlu sawl blwyddyn a tro gyntaf ddod i'r brig.
Ond mae'n meddwl lot hefyd, ydyw e?
Dim ware.
So this pair of Llanwenogs will obviously go forward to the overall championship, so it's quite an interesting to see all the native breeds, which will go to the native hill and purebred first, and then on proceed then to continentals and that for the overall champion. The winner will be. It'll be interesting to see which of the native breeds comes to the fore. I'm sure that the Llanwenogers will be as confident as every other breed. And there we have in second place in this particular class, Mr. Gethin Hatcher. And again, the judges are very consistent, and they were 91.5 kilos, so only half a kilo difference between the lambs, so obviously he featured the strength. But anyway, we look forward to seeing him in the finals later.
Yeah, can you help with this?
Yes, indeed, we will be returning to the sheep ring, but there's no peace for the wicked, as they say. We're back in the cattle ring, so it's Gerald once again.
There we are, we're in for the result of the pedigree Hereford steer, and there we have, the winner is Penrw Gork Progress 508, and this was the largest animal in the class, and it is owned by Messrs. Paul Griffiths. So we will see this animal in the steer championship tomorrow, and that's 702 kilos. He certainly won't be the smallest animal that's on exhibition tomorrow anyway, so he'll stand, be quite confident that he stands in with a chance anyway. Very attractive, tall, well-meted animal. Mr. Griffiths is very proud to receive his red card here in the Royal Welsh Winter Ffair. Obviously with the Herefords then, as is over the well-muscular animals, continental breeds, as we alluded to before in the lambs, the killing out percentage would not be quite as good on meat to bone ratio in this particular animal, because they haven't got that extra muscle in, and or what you would say double muscle in. So therefore, but I'm sure that Mr. Griffiths will hold his own within the eating qualities, and he will be trying to convince the judge maybe tomorrow that he'd like to have a piece of this animal rather than a piece of the continental, but I'm afraid that's how it is. We'll have to wait till tomorrow to see what happens with the Hereford steer.
Great. Diolch yn fawr. Great. Diolch. Ta.
Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Sandriso Menai. Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Sandriso Menai.
Welcome back to the showground here at Llanelwydd, as we come slowly towards the end of our broadcast here on S4C. We'll be with you till 4 o'clock. In the meantime, let's go to the sheep ring and rejoin Gerald Lewis.
We are now back in the sheep ring, featuring a breed that we haven't seen all day, and this is one pair of Southdown lambs, another native breed of the UK. And as we see
Definitely.
These have a 2-colour ratio. It's the coloured Southdown and the white Southdown. And again, quite a variation in the size of the lambs. The lightest being 35.5 live and the heaviest being 46. So again, quite a variation in the weight of the lambs. And Mr. Probert again, as perhaps he has done in the past, he's favoured the quite, say, the heavier type of lambs. Again, then there's such a variation in the quality and the conformation and type of lamb that he is judging, so you have to adjust yourself. But still, he's hoping that these lambs will have the meat in the correct places. What he assesses as being the correct place on these, it will not be quite as large a hind quarter as is on the Continental Breeze, but these lambs look excessively, or say quite wide. And within the system that we have in the current UK sheep industry, still going back to the part of the European Union, we have what they call a grid called Euro, and E is for excellent, and U is for the second best, and R is for the third, and O is for the fourth grade. So I would go as far to say probably these lambs here look as if they could well be U grade lambs anyway. They look quite good conformation. I would have thought probably they would struggle to get an E, but are still very well made lambs, and a little bit shorter and thicker and lower to the ground than perhaps the Llanwenneg's what we just seen previously. Southdown suggests in their name that perhaps they are a lowland breed, and probably many years ago featured very strongly in the lowland flocks of the UK. Mr. Probert again, having one more look. Oh no, he's made his decision, and
Jonathan Long and Ginta.
Sorry, I'm not too sure on the pair of lambs that have won, but it's Mr. J and S Long.
Well, congratulations. You've having a good time in these fairs lately?
Not too bad.
And their pair of lambs again are 88 kilos live weight, so they're 44 live weight. So Mr. Probert again has gone towards the larger end of the pair of lambs.
And what's so special about the Southdown?
Just a good hardy native breed, easily fleshed, look after themselves.
Good approximate. But I think that's what got you the first prize, the wonderful smile you've got behind you. She's a secret weapon, is she?
Massively, big part of the team.
Yeah. Do you like the sheep?
Yeah.
Are they special?
Yes.
And you've won first prize?
Yeah.
Well done you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wel, dwi'n cael cwmni Alwyn Rees rhan cadeirydd y ffairi.
Well, Nia is now joined by Alwyn Rees, who is the chair of the Winter Ffair committee. The doors are opened. Had you foreseen that there'd be as many people coming to visit the fair today? Well, as Alwyn's saying, it's been a pleasure to see so many people coming here, and preparations have been a bit of a headache. The biggest decision of all was made a couple of months ago when we had to decide one way or the other if we were going to have the Winter Fair or not, and we're so glad that we decided that we were. I have to mention as well that the behaviour of the people who have been here have been impeccable. The queues have been formed, and people have taken notice of all the restrictions that we've had to put in place. And of course, there's everybody's welcome to come and visit the fair. Just be aware that you have to purchase your tickets beforehand. But there is one change this year. In the past, in the Winter Fair, the doors have been open free of charge from 4 o'clock onwards on a Monday for people who want to come here to do some Christmas shopping and to see the fireworks. That is not the case this year. You do need a ticket to come in if you want to see the firework display later on this evening.
A hyd yn hyn, Alwyn.
So far, so good, Alwyn.
Gwych, da ni'n troi rwan, draw i'r cylch.
Right, let's go quickly to the horse ring, and here's Rachel.
Dakota.
Okay, so we're jumping back up to the Section A's again, and we're on the yearling colt class.
Sydd wedi penderfynu ar hyn o bryd.
All in together with this, as we only had 13 entries.
Gallai bethau newid cryn dipyn.
So we've got 9-2-1 up in front of us at the minute. Sam Morsley's Ilar Dakota.
Sam Morsley sydd yn dangos ar y randi o wedi.
So,
job da yn paratoi'r ebol yma.
Mae Sam yn un o'r... Mae'n brofiad... Wel, mae'n brofiad...
Of course, these... a lot of the in-hand young stock, especially these yearlings, would have had no shows really in 2020s. They wouldn't have got out as foals, and obviously no winter foal shows last year, so this would be their first season showing.
Dakota and symud and
obviously no Royal Welsh this year, so these would be quite inexperienced compared to previous years. You know, a lot of people spent time at home working with them during lockdown, but obviously they lack that ringside experience, and it's just about, you know, you can do a lot of work at home, but you can't beat the experience and the atmosphere that you'll get at a show, which obviously you can't recreate at home. So, you know, these yearlings would have spent a season where they might have gone to some shows on their dams, and then maybe some foal shows in the autumn. Some of these ponies would be coming out and just coming out as yearlings as their first experience of the show world. So 914 up in front of us, and this is Dawson and Williams, Rhyd-y-Felin, Saibod.
So beth sy'n rhaid cofio gyda'r dosbarth yma, mae gofyn bod potensial march yn perthyn i'r anifeiliaid yma. Ebolion blwyddyn nhw ar hyn o bryd, ond wyt ti wedi gweud yn gynnar iawn os yw Ceffyn yn mynd i fod yn...
Again, anyone who has only just tuned in, we've got Kitty Bodley from the Glebedale Stud, breeders of A's and C's, very successfully judging the A's today.
Dyma Colin Tibby yn dangos ar ran Sandy Anderson.
Very much known for looking
Thistle down the steam yw'r march, yw tad.
For a pony that will go on and be a child's pony. Possibly an M&M lead rein, M&M first ridden pony. Or even an open A under saddle. She'll be looking for a pony to be a perfect child's pony and something that will perform under saddle. Temperament are high on her list. So we might come back and see a result a little bit later on.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Let's go quickly to the cattle ring and rejoin Gerald Lewis.
Yes, we're back, and the cattle ring and the steer sired by a British Blue. And we have 5 animals forward. Quite a weight variation again from 608 to 714. So obviously there wasn't enough of cattle entered in this particular section for them to split the class in weight. There in shot there is number 114, Mr. Richard Wright with Thunder, and he is 608 kilos.
Ond mae'n job deud heb I handle nhw, swn I feddwl. Dydy. Mae wel llawn, ella bod o'r rhyd rwm, bos di.
As we've seen, actually, and quite a trend in the steer sired by a Belgian Blue. We've seen the heifer section earlier on today, and predominantly all of them are all black, and we have another full class of black animals.
Swn I ddweud, so, yeah.
Obviously, a lot of these would have been out of Belgian Blue crossbred cows or limousine crossbred cows. tendency of the crossbred limousine, crossbred Belgian Blue, produces the muscularity of the Belgian Blue and the nice sort of the finesse of the limousine, so it's trying to find that correct balance to catch the show judge's eyes is what every cattle producer is trying to do. As I alluded to before, every animal in this class, except say 1 or 2, are quite large in 600 plus, and it would be I think a term that's used within cattlemen. There's a lorry load of meat on each individual animal, but a large lorry load on the heaviest at 702 kilos would be quite a large carcass and a lot of meat for the butcher to sell. Well, there we are. Mr. Lyon looks as if he's made his decision, and standing at the top of the line is Mr. Richard Wright with his steer called Thunder. He actually is the lightest animal in the class, weighing 608 kilos. Mr. Richard Wright will feature tomorrow in the steer championship, so we look forward to seeing him again tomorrow.
Wel, dwi'n dal I gael modd I fyw yma nghanol y periannau, ac erbyn hyn, dwi wedi cyrraedd stondin Davis Implement, ac yn cadw'r cwmni fi, yn ffodus iawn, mae Heilwen Davis. Brown da, Heilwen.
Well, Aaron is joined by Heilwen Davis from the Davis Implements from Carmarthen. And once again, Heilwen is saying how great it is to be back in the show after an absence of 2 years.
Mae'n bleser I fod ma a gweld bod popeth yn brysur dyn ni hefyd.
Ie, fel cwmni. Dedwch ychydig o hanes y cwmni. Chi a chwaer o'n i'n deall sy'n rhedeg y cwmni.
Ie, ymwhar.
Well, tell us a little bit about the company. Well, Heilwen runs the company with her sister, Sharon. The company was established back in the 30s by her grandfather. And then her father, Tom, then joined her grandfather in the 50s. And now it's my sister and I, Sharon, and Heilwen, who run the company. And we've both been doing it for several years. And both of them get on very well, and both of them bring their own expertise into the company. And there's agricultural vehicles there, and as well as some forestry machinery. I mean, in years gone by, it was agricultural machinery that the company used to sell, but as the years have gone by, Heilwen and Sharon have discovered that they've had to adapt to the market, and they started with Timberwell chippers initially and found that worked very well for us as a company. And then we've just gone from strength to strength since then with a variety of forestry machinery.
Ifiad, wedi ffansio'r llif awr o'n hyn, achos mae alw mawr am goed, yn oes, mae coed yn bryn, a lot o ffermwyr yn arall gyfeirio ac yn trio torri coed I hunain, felly dwi'n siŵr bod na fynd yn oes. Mae'n
rhywbeth amserol iawn.
A lot of these machinery are very popular, and this particular machine is produced by a company in Sweden, Avant Saw Mill, so it can saw trees up to 1 metre in length. Oh, typical Aaron. He wants to know how much that would cost. Just around £10,000 is the cost, and it's quite interesting, really, how many people have been showing interest in machinery such as this. I think people have started producing firewood with the use of that machine in the back, the red one in the back, and I've noticed that they are by cutting their own logs, they're producing more money, and also they can adapt and create planks such as the one that Aaron is sitting on.
Mae'n cod debyg, fydden nhw wedi cael ei torri lan I cod tan. Adding value yn dyfed, dyna'r peth.
Ie, yn hollol. Wel, gwych, falle gael priceless yno gynnwch am hwnna, nhw'n ei fargen cyn diwedd y dydd.
Once again, Aaron's asking for the priceless and looking for a bargain, but thanks very much, Aylwyn.
Well, the money.
Let's go quickly back to the horse ring, and hopefully we might get a result here. Rachel.
Okay, so we're back up with the yearling colt section A's. Huge entries in the foal classes, so obviously judging has taken quite some time. So currently standing at the top is Sam Morsley's pony, Ilar Dakota. 13 entries in this class for our judge, Kitty Bodley. And as I was saying earlier, some of these ponies, obviously with no shows or very few shows last year, they wouldn't have had the experience of going to any foal shows or being shown on their dams last summer. So very much first sort of experiences of showing for many of these ponies. And good entries, up 100 on 20.99 overall in equine, and which proves that the enthusiasm has not gone. And from what I've seen, we've had some great classes here today. Quality and quantity in abundance. So our judge Kitty Bodley just taking a final look, casting her eye over these ponies. And it looks like they're going to stay as they are, because I can see that the rosettes are on their way in.
Mae'r hosglyme ond yr all i'r cylch, ond mae'n spearhead, mae dal I fod yn spearhead.
Yeah, looks like this lineup is staying as it is. And we've got a win for number 921. And this is Sam Morsley, Ilar Dakota. Now I know this pony was bred in Wales by Mr. Owen Griffith. And now residing in Milton Keynes in Buckingham, so travelled rather a long way. But congratulations to Ilar Dakota and Sam Morsley, all the way from Milton Keynes. Great to be back, and as I said, some lovely quality animals on show today.
And there we are. The first day of the Winter Fair has been a very successful one. Obviously, there'll be plenty of activities going on here at the showground this evening. But our time here on S4C is coming to an end. Nia is joined by Mary Lovegring, who will be a co-presenter on S4C's highlight show later on this evening. If you want to watch that particular show, then it's on S4C at 8 o'clock this evening. All that's left for me to say is to thank Gerald Lewis and Rachel Thomas for all their hard work on the English language commentary service. And don't forget, we will be back here once again tomorrow, so we'll see you at 10 o'clock in the morning. Till then, goodbye.
Noddir y rhaglen hon gan Coleg Glyn Llifon, rhan o grŵp Llandrillo Men.